Jarvis killing the penalty with Dave Tippett, and both teams will send out some fresh players.
Or Ken, you called it. The Hartford Whalers really doing a nice job of keeping Montreal on the outside of that box. Now, if they continue to do that, Montreal is going to have to decide whether they just want to start directing aimless shots at the net or working it around and letting that penalty kill itself.
There's a deflection by Nyland. Liut the save. Now Chris Chelios. The drive. Guard in front. Liut clears. Sheldali. Chris Chelios caught by Liut with 7 seconds left in the Ron Francis penalty. And one of the most interesting aspects about individuals is Chris Chelios. He has had more shots in the Stanley Cup playoffs without a goal than any other player on any team. And here he is.
Well, most of them are from far out, just as this one was, and he plays the power play, so it's kind of typical that a defenseman should have that many shots if he's playing in the power play and not have any goals. And you know, watching the shot before that, now Liut grabbed that one with his glove. To tell you how cool Mike Liut is and how he knows where his goal is, a shot came before that from the point right along the ice. It missed the post by 6 inches. He never flinched.
The shot hits the side of the net as Green let it go. Smith with a puck. Bothwell down. Liut the save on Smith, trying to get it in front again as Francis is back on, and both teams are at full strength. 6 minutes to go, first period, no score.
Road Handler, one of the greatest names in tires.
Well, it's a lot quieter in the Montreal Forum now than it was at the start of the game, Ken. And one of the reasons for that is the crowd here is very sophisticated. When we get a chance, maybe we can get involved in that topic a little more.
Canadiens pressure on. Serge Beauvais down, battling with Jarvis. Samuelson takes out Carbonneau. Here's Carbonneau. Out to the point. Green's wrist shot deflects high. Liut loses it, and Gainey's robbed as Liut somehow stops Bob Gainey's backhander. Dave Tippett for the Whalers with Dineen and Samuelson. Now Francis after the puck. Gainey beats him to it, and Beauvais will bring it to center ice. 5:20 left in a scoreless first period. Guy Carbonneau spun down. Beauvais runs into Robertson. Robertson slams Beauvais. Chelios in a bind. Carbonneau shoots it in as the Canadiens change players. Now the long pass to Wayne Babbage. Back from Francis to Wayne Babbage, and intercepting is Stéphane Richer. Chris Chelios in his second year with Montreal to Larry Robinson. He's stopped, but Richer covers up, only to be knocked down by Wayne Babbage. Now the Whalers with some pressure on, and the Canadiens break loose. Richer leaving the puck. Strudland in front, and that shot goes just over the net by Lemieux and out of play. And a big collision there at Mike Liut's doorstep.
Gosh, it looked to me like Liut might have actually got a piece of that shot, Ken. I don't know how you saw it, but it was a great shot by Richer. They ended up with a 3-on-2 here. Torrey Robertson was back checking, and he stopped a little too soon. You saw him coming back, number 32. What did that hit? Right off his shoulder?
We're down to 4:38 remaining. In the opening period, Montreal has outshot Hartford 8-5. The goaltending, as you would expect, has been superb. Roy, in his 10th game, coming in with a 1.89 goals against average in the playoffs. Liut, 7 playoff games and an unbelievable 1.92 goals against average. He did miss almost 8 periods in this playoff series with a leg injury, and then even came back a day early. And what did he do? He shut out Montreal the other night.
Ken, those numbers are out of the 60s, aren't they? I mean, nobody has I mean, there was only one goalie in the NHL to have an average under 3 during the regular season. So when you get under 2 for a stretch of 10 or 12 games, you know you're on top of your game. And I mentioned the crowd here earlier and how sophisticated they are. As a result of that, they know what's good, they know what's bad, so they cheer when it's appropriate to cheer. It's one of the reasons why you'll go into other buildings around the National Hockey League and have fans screaming all the time. Well, here in Montreal, they acknowledge excellence and they frown upon their team when they're not working hard and things of that nature. So they basically get loud and get noisy when it's appropriate. That's one of the reasons why at times tonight we won't hear them actually.
They have high expectations here in Montreal. 22 Stanley Cups over the years. They won 5 in a row in the mid-50s, 4 Stanley Cups in a row in the mid-70s. And it's been a little while now since they've had a Stanley Cup, and they think this could be the year. But they must win tonight.
Especially with Washington and Philadelphia watching.
Kleinendorst intercepts, unable to get around Larry Robinson. Off the boards to Nyland, looking up front, and he's unable to reach Gainey. Now John Anderson to Ray Ferraro. Ferraro for Deneen. And he goes around Gainey, and then Gainey just bothers him enough that the shot is high off the glass and into the crowd. Hartford nothing, Canadiens nothing, and here's Jim Kelly.
All right, Ken, thank you very much. Coming up in our first intermission, we of course will have highlights of last night's action. First, Toronto scoring their series with St. Louis. The Oilers doing likewise against the Flames. Tomorrow night live on ESPN, Game 7 between Calgary and Edmonton. Live cut-ins from St. Louis and Toronto. Also in our first intermission, a feature on the Whalers' Kevin Deneen. A check-in at Sports Center. More on today's NFL Draft, which you saw live on ESPN. And our colleague Tom Mees will have the Bud Light Hockey News, highlights of first period action. Speaking of the first period, Bill Clement, kind of like the Whalers are playing, well, maybe facing Whitey Ford at Yankee Stadium. I would imagine the longer they stay close, the more confidence, the more momentum they build.
Well, I never saw Whitey Ford play at Yankee Stadium, but I'll agree with the last part of that, Jim, definitely. I'm sure that Hartford's goal when they came here was to get out of the first period at least even with the Montreal Canadiens. So far, they're accomplishing that. We got 3 minutes and 50-some seconds to go in the first period.
There's an offside as Bobby Smith brings it back in. I guess you cannot totally Americanize a Canadian hockey player like you, so we'll understand that you didn't see Whitey Ford at Yankee Stadium. But then it's a little tough to take almost any American and totally get them into the Canadian style and get them into hockey. So we have some differences, but we all blend into one big happy family.
Listen, I do know that for the first time in the history of the NFL, a Canadian was chosen in the first round today. So there.
Here's Lawless.
I'm up on current events at least.
Green takes him down. Smith for Montreal. Francis all over him, and Bobby Smith pulls away. Green ahead for Naslund. He'll wind it up. The little Swede, the Canadiens' leading goal scorer. Can't get around Gavin, but forces the puck in. Paul Samuelsson, the 21-year-old from Sweden, taken down by Smith. And he covers the puck. No whistle yet. Andy Van Hellemond wants him to play. Samuelsson trying to freeze the puck. Can't. Bobby Smith, the ex-North Star. Back to the point. Oh, Naslund, a deflection. Lawler's drive. Naslund, an ideal deflection. And Liut has been, again tonight, remarkable.
Well, if there is absolutely any doubt in anyone's mind that Mike Liut is the key to the reason the Hartford Whalers are here, especially after last game 6. They were outshot 32-17. That puck was deflected halfway to the net, and unless you were standing there trying to catch the puck and pick it up as it changed direction, you couldn't appreciate what he just did. I don't even think I can fully appreciate it, but I know one thing. That thing changed 3 to 4 feet of direction. It was coming to his right, ended up to his left, never even flinched.
Product of Bowling Green State University in Ohio, Mike Liut, out of Toronto, and of course had 6 brilliant years with the St. Louis Blues before being traded last season to Hartford. Tippett with the puck for the Whalers. McDermott in front of him. Unable to get around Chelios. Robinson back to Chelios. They're the defense team for Montreal. Up front, the youngsters, and this is Lemieux digging the puck out, and Kleinendorst does not allow him to center. Oh, he had Stephane Richer right in front. It's Lemieux, Sprudland, and Richer. Richer's in front. Here's Lemieux looking for Robinson now. Pinching in. Unable to get the puck to him. And Tippett intercepts, and Robinson ends up with a puck to Claude Lemieux. A nice move around Jarvis, and he gets the puck in. Liut playing it up the wing. Sprudland swats it behind the net, and Kleinendorst is there. Out to center ice, the Whalers, and quickly Montreal with a puck with 2.5 minutes left. First period, no score. Here's Richer. Look at that move around Boswell, and he shoots wide. Keeping the puck in is Chelios to Richer. Oh, is he dangerous, but hold everything. The whistle, and Andy Van Hellemond has stopped the action here. Now Sprudland gives Tippett a bump. Very unhappy is the 20-year-old Montreal forward Claude Lemieux. I'm not sure what the penalties will be, but Andy Van Hellemond wants to make sure he gets everyone calmed down.
Well, he's waving Lemieux over to the penalty box, so obviously Lemieux has one. There he goes, and I think he's the only one. He might have called him for interference. One thing Claude Lemieux has done in this series throughout the playoffs, he's really stirred things up. What a move that was by Richer. So discouraging for the Montreal Canadiens. They make brilliant moves. They get around the defender, and then they have to face Mike Liut. He didn't have anything to shoot at. Obviously, he shot wide. He missed the net by 8 inches, 10 inches. And from that distance, that's quite a measure to miss the goal by.
Most observers felt that Montreal should have won game number 6 Sunday night at Hartford, but the Whalers won it 1-0 to even the series at 3 victories aside.
Boy, look at that move by young Stéphane Richer. And this line has been, this line of Skrudland and Lemieux and Richer, if not their best line, has been at least their second best line. We got 3 rookies on the same line that have really done a job for these Montreal Canadiens thus far.
Montreal shorthanded for the 4th time. Carbonneau trying to gain a face-off, and he and Ferraro hold the puck. 17:41, the time of the 2-minute interference penalty to Claude Lemieux. He's had 2 penalties now. Robinson and Chelios minors for Montreal, and McDermott and Francis have each had 2-minute holding penalties for Hartford. But neither team really able to do a lot on the power play, though Montreal has looked a lot more effective with a man advantage than Hartford here in the opening period. Montreal shorthanded. They have Gainey, Carbonneau, Lawler, and Green killing the penalty. This is Lawler, the native of Buffalo, New York. And the Whalers will start out again from near their net. John Anderson, big goal scorer. With Dineen and Ferraro, Babbage and Francis. And again, Bill Clement, the Whalers really having a tough time on the power play.
Oh, Bob Gainey's really on top of his game. I've asked people in Montreal, because I haven't seen every game. I said, how's Bob Gainey playing? They said the same, which means excellent, as he always does.
Dineen rifles it in. Anderson after it. And McPhee can't play it. Francis keeps it in. Gets it back from Ferraro. Check by McPhee. Mike McPhee has a breakaway. He shoots. He scores. Mike McPhee.
Well, these sophisticated fans in Montreal showing us that they can definitely come alive. Mike McPhee outlegs it ahead of Ron Francis and just lets it go with absolutely no design at all. He just wanted to shoot it low. It looks like Francis was hanging on him. And I think the jury's back on Ron Francis. Something is wrong with his ankle. McPhee just lets it go. He's able to hit that one little area in between Mike Liut's legs. There's absolutely no way a goalie can stop it from that range when you hit that spot. And he just let it go blind with Francis on his back, and that'll be a very, very big goal because there's only 1 minute left in this first period.
1-0 Montreal. Mike McPhee, the shorthanded goal. Now the Whalers with a power play for another 37 seconds. Gavin mixing it up behind the net, trying to get the puck loose is Evason, unable to, but Gavin gets it. He's got Babbage at one point, Samuelson at the other. Here's Babbage over to Ulf Samuelson, the shot, and that's kicked out by Rouen. Samuelson to Babbage. Gavin, deflection behind the net. Lawless leaves the puck. It's centered out to Babbage. His drive, and that's wide. Green cuddles it against his chest. Now Dean Evason. Gavin has been knocked down. The puck to Babbage. 5 seconds left in the power play. And off Carbonneau, Samuelson's shot goes into the Forum crowd here in Montreal with only 3 seconds left in that penalty to Claude Lemieux.
Ken, during that sequence, goalie Patrick Roy lost his stick at one point and actually picked it back up. Now, he already has it back in his hand. You can see him looking over his shoulder. He was cool enough to reach down and pick his stick up while Hartford was moving the puck from one defenseman to another. That's quite a bit of poise, you know, taking that chance and believing that you can do it. That shows, obviously, the confidence that he has had to get here as a 20-year-old. He's really been the story for Montreal, as has Mike Liut been for Hartford.
That shorthanded goal at 18:47 to give Montreal a 1-0 lead, and the product of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute scores it. Mike McPhee, his second Stanley Cup playoff goal. There are, like McPhee, a lot of inexperienced players for both sides in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 2 young teams battling it out in Game 7. Back on. Lemieux shooting the puck in. Both teams at full strength. 10 seconds to go in the opening period. Montreal, Chelios. They lead it 1-0. 5 seconds. Chelios decked and a good check by Samuelson. And there's the siren. That is the end of the first period here at the Forum in Montreal. And the difference with a shillelagh effort plays it all the way back near that Montreal blue line. It's shot in, clearly offside, Montreal, and the Canadiens lead the Whalers in Game 7, 1-0.
1 World Championship, 5 Gold Cups, 7 national titles. Miss Budweiser and the King of Beers, the winning.
Guy Carbonneau can only feel very frustrated right now. You go in on a guy like Mike Liud, and right away you know you're facing somebody that odds are in his favor immediately.
Guy Carbonneau has had in this game 2 outstanding scoring opportunities. Each team has had 1 shot on goal in the second period as Patrick Roy holds the puck for a faceoff with 15-12 remaining in the second period, and the Whalers trailing Montreal 1-0. Of course, over the years, the Whalers have not fared very well here at the Montreal Forum. In fact, they won here for the first time ever just back on March 10th, late in the regular season. They won a playoff game here earlier in this round.
But don't forget, though, Ken, Montreal was the first team to beat them in the playoffs in 6 years. Might have to point out that they weren't in the playoffs for 6 consecutive years, but they have made great strides, you're right, in coming into this building because they hadn't won in years.
The Whalers have played 27 prior games here at the Forum. They have won twice. The March 10th victory in the regular season, and then the playoff victory here April 17th. Both teams at full strength. Gavin, a second shot. Shooting it wide. Robinson can't clear as Francis ties him up. Now Lawless looking for a loose puck. All Lawless. On with Francis and Gavin. They're effective here for Hartford. The Whalers trying to tie it. Brian Strudlin intercepts. Richer can't play it, and Gavin keeps the puck in. It comes in front. Lawless unable to get a shot. Rick Green now to Brian Strudlin, the third-year pro. Out too far for Robinson. Kleinendorf for Hartford. On defense with Tim Bothwell, a pair of veterans. Up off the leg of Francis. Here's Stéphane Richer backhanding the puck in for Montreal, and the Canadiens will change players. Over 14 minutes left, second period. Hartford trailing 1-0. John Anderson for the Whalers with a nice move over the line. His slap shot wide. Here's Guy Carbonneau with Gainey on the move in front of him. Gainey takes the pass, trying to cut in. Can't get around Dave Babbage. Babbage with the puck, looking for Ray Ferraro. The pass to Ferraro off his skate, and this is Chris Chelios. On defense with Ludwig for Montreal. Chelios stick handling. He's got some momentum, and the shot goes wide off Quenneville. Robertson takes out Chelios, and the Whalers come right back. Here's Kevin Dineen. Kevin Dineen, the University of Denver product, has a shot sail into the crowd. Montreal on top, 1-0.
Come become the beautiful flower that floats on the clear Kona Sea, where the sands of time run black and white, and the friendly Hawaiian spirit still lives, with the airline that's been Hawaii's friend for nearly 40 years, United. And come become the Hawaii that was and always has been in the friendly skies.
Whalers trailing 1-0 in the second period. Most of the people with the Whalers, Bill Clement, felt that Hartford had a pretty good first period. They had only 6 shots, but they haven't been getting many shots and really playing very well in the first period in this series.
No, I agree with you. They did have a good first period. Unfortunately for them, they came out of it on the short end of a 1-0 game, and it was that goal at the end of the first period. But, you know, you can't really take comfort at this stage of the season when you're in the 7th game and having a good period. The score is what is final, and that is what you have to be concerned with.
Quenneville taking out Nyland. Gainey spun around. Ray Ferraro off the boards. Robertson tied up, but Dineen speeds through. Dineen with Babbage. And Dave Babbage can't get the drop pass. Chris Nyland ahead, just out of the reach of Carbonneau, and there'll be a penalty called. A penalty will be called against the Whalers. Dave Babbage. Well, Dave Babbage, Bill Clement, didn't seem to do a whole lot there, and I think he's unhappy with the call. 13:04 to go, period 2. Montreal 1, Hartford nothing.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing.
Sadowski. Shiboski.
A chance.
Pronounced Shiboski.
You're gonna make it, here comes you. Make America work, and this fight's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste
Hey, Sid.
that says Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
Well, when we left you, one Hartford Whaler was being whistled off for this infraction. That was Dave Babbage. Really a questionable call. While you were gone, Torrey Robertson has joined that man, Dave Babbage, in the penalty box. We'll try and get the call for you. I'm assuming it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
6:56, the time of the penalty. A hooking call against Babbage. Hartford shorthanded and trailing 1-0. Chelios leading the Montreal power play, unable to get around Quenneville.
And Ken, it looks as if Torrey Robertson has gotten a misconduct because Hartford is only playing one man down. So Robertson will probably get to cool his heels for 10 minutes. It really won't affect the numbers game on the ice right now.
Tippett, Jarvis, Quenneville, and Samuelson killing the penalty for Hartford. The pass intended for Lemieux broken up. Here's Naslund with Smith and Lemieux up front. Chelios and Smith, or rather Robinson on the points. Robinson, Chelios, clean shot, just wide. Now Larry Robinson in front for Matt Naslund, too well covered. Lanky Bobby Smith trying to pull away, can't. He gets the puck right back. Claude Lemieux barreling after it, unable to get to it. And here comes Hartford playing a man short. They trail 1-0. There's less than a minute now to go in the Dave Babbage penalty. Good work by Jarvis, who will go to the bench now and be replaced. Evison and Gavin killing the penalty up front for Hartford. Here's Bobby Smith with Matt Naslund, always dangerous. Naslund in front, and Gavin intercepts. He'll go one-on-one with Chelios. He'll be trailed by Dean Evison. The shot, the save, and there was Evison looking for the rebound and gets it in front, and Stéphane Richer intercepts. Richer with Naslund and Nyland. 20 seconds left in the Montreal power play. The centering pass. Larry Robinson stopped by Mike Liu. Naslund to Green, moving in Rick Green. He has Nyland in front. Now to Stéphane Richer. Over to Matt Naslund. The shot, and it's wide by a foot. 5 seconds left in the Canadiens power play. Richer to Green, the Iron Man tonight, knocked down. And as Babbage comes on, the puck cleared. Roy stops it to Larry Robinson. Hartford changing players. The big defenseman just flips the puck in, and he'll head to the Montreal bench. Both teams at full strength. 10:50 left, second period. Francis for Hartford getting the puck in. Whalers trailing 1-0. The goal scored late in the first period by Mike McPhee, a shorthanded Montreal goal. Nyland just out of the reach of Carbonneau. Then Liu planted into the corner. Samuelson takes out his man, and Francis gets the puck ahead to Paul Lawless. Lawless's quick shot wide. Covering the rebound is Roy, and we'll go to Jim Keller.
Mike Vernon against Grant Fuhr. Joey Mullen against Wayne Gretzky. The Flames against the Oilers tomorrow live on ESPN. No blackout. Calgary at Edmonton, 9:30 Eastern Time. Game 7. The winner meets the Toronto St. Louis Survivor. And then on Thursday night, John Van Beesbrook and Pierre LaRouche, both red hot for the Rangers, take on the winner of this game. Will it be Hartford or Montreal? The Canadiens lead 1-0 with 10:23 left to go. And Bill Clement, when will the Whalers have to open things up? How long in this hockey game can they rely on the goaltending of Mike Liu to carry them?
Jim, I'm not sure that they have the personnel to open up with. They almost have to stick to the game plan because of their personnel. They play a very tight game, peck away, and try and get a goal here or there. Unless they fell behind by 2 or 3, I don't think they would open up at all because I don't think they're capable of it. Which brings up an interesting point about Ron Francis, who's facing off out here against Guy Carbonneau. We've heard reports about his ankle, and when we get a chance, I want to talk a little more about it. Let Ken